In this video, we're going to go through on the Catholic High School End of Year Examination 2024, Primary 5 Mathematics, Paper 2. Let's get started on the first question. It says here, tickets for theme park were sold at 20% discount. The price of 4 tickets before discount was $196. What was the discount for one ticket? Right? So what we can do is we can say tickets is equal to $196. All right, so we can use the calculator, right? So let me just use my calculator over here. Okay, so my calculator 196 1 divided by 4, and this will give us 49. So one ticket is equal to 196, and then we divide it by 4, and this will give us 49. Is it 49? It is $49. Okay, so this is the price before the discount. So what was the discount for one ticket? So we know that the discount is 20%. So discount for one ticket is equal to 49 times 20%. And this will give us, all right, so we can multiply this by 20%, $9.80. And there you go, 980. So the answer to this is $9.80. Oops, 80 cents. Here you go. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. Right, the table below shows the number of sports played by each pupil in a group. Part of the table is covered by an ink blot. So we see over here. There were 157 pupils who played at least 2 sports. Okay, so that means this together is 157 pupils, right? So each statement is either true or false or not possible to tell from the information given. Put a tick to indicate your answer. All right, so over here it says there were 240 pupils altogether. So we know this is 57. So what is this here? So basically together here is 12 plus 7. I'm going to put a plus sign over here. Okay, so 12 plus 7. So use my handy dandy calculator. 12 plus 71, and this gives us 83. So this is 83. So together, let me just make this smaller so I can fit in more things over here. Right, so together forever, 157 plus 83. Okay, so let's use the calculator. Plus 157, and this gives us 240. So 83 plus 157 is equal to 240 pupils, which is correct. There you go. So the answer to this is true. So I'm going to tick true over here. All right, next one. All right, so the number of pupils who played 3 sports was equal to the number of pupils who played 4 sports. So we know 157 is 2, 3, and 4. What about 3 and 4? So over here, we're going to do this as well. So this will be equal to basically 157, right, minus 112. Okay, and what will this give us? So let's go to our calculator. 157 minus 112, this will give us 45. Okay, 45 pupils. So the thing is that, oh, okay, but yeah, like this, right? So the thing is that in order for us to have if number, so 3 sports pupils equal to 4 sport pupils, right? This must be an even number. Total must be an even number. Okay, to have 3 sports equal to 4 sports pupil. However, in this case, right, I'm going to put a line, right? Since total number is an odd number, this means this is false. So false. So example, closest is 22, 3, there's spots. So if 3, okay, so 20, so 45 can be either be 22 plus 23. And this is sadly wrong in this case over here. So I'm going to put an X. Meh. Right. Okay, so in this case, this will be false. Right. So we know for certain that this one cannot be it. Right. That's about it. Right. Let's move on to question number 3. Okay, so question number 3 says the graph shows the amount of money John saved every month from January to May. What was the average amount of money John saved from January to May? So we're going to write down the numbers. So first, we want to know what's the number of gaps, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 gaps from 0 to 20. So 4 gaps is equal to 20, 1 gap is equal to 20, and then we divide it by 4, and this gives us 5. So in this case, it's 0, and then we will have 5. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. So this is 5, this is 10, right? And then this is 15. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, so now the next part is we want to calculate January. So January we have 2 gaps. So this is 40, then this is 45 and 50. So in this case, I'll just write down. So this is 45, and then this is 50 in this case over here, right? 50. So I'm going to put a line as well so you can see it like this. Okay, 50. So for January over here, this will be 50. This is what dollars are. Okay, dollars, right? $50. Okay, so let me put this as bull. Okay, so let's move on. So for February, let's put a line. So it's just below 100. So this should be 100 minus what they call is 5. It should be 95. So in this case for February, it's $95. Okay, so $95. Next one, March. Okay, very hard. Don't know how much is it. No lah, it's just $0. Okay, and then for April. So April. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw the line, and then this is 1 before 80. So this should be 75. Okay, so 80 minus 5, this is 75 over here. Okay, so for this will be $75. And then lastly, for May over here, right? I'm gonna put it like this all the way to 20. That's what I see over here. So that means this is $20. Okay, in this case. All right, so with this, four gaps. All right, so now we want to get total money. Okay, I'll put dollar sign here. Okay, total money is equal to 50 plus 95 plus 0 plus 75 plus 20. Okay, and this will become 95, 175, 170, 100, 190, 240. So let's see if this is correct. So 50 plus 95 plus 75 plus 20. Okay, 240. Okay, very good. Dollars 240. So total number of months, right, is equal to, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 months. So average, let's go to 240, then divide by 5. This will give us something 8, 48, right? Divide by 5, this will give us 48, correct? So dollars 48. So the answer to this is $48. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. So it says here, Mr. Ng bought 3 types of stationery. The prices are given below. The table shows the number of each type of stationery Mr. Ng bought. Which type of stationery did Mr. Ng spend the most? Okay, so pens total cost is equal to, right? So in this case, will be 1.2 times 8. Okay, this will be dollars 9.60. Okay, so in this case, 1.2 times, 8, 9.6. Okay, so what about notepads? Wee pa pee poo pa. Notepads is equal to 90 cents, which is 0.9. 0.9. So I'm just going to put here is equal to dollar 0.90. Okay, and 55 cents is 0.55. Okay, 0.9 times 14. Okay, and what would this become? So this will become 1360 or something like that. So zero point 0.9 times 1.4, 1.26. Okay, so I'm gonna put here dollars 1.26. Okay, 1.26. Let me think. Let's double confirm. 0.9 times 1.4. Sorry. So it's $12.60, not 1.4. 0.9 times 14. Okay. Okay, that is correct. $12.60. And last one, we have erasers. So the total cost is 0.55 times 18. Okay, so 18. So in this case, point 0.55 multiplied by 18. Okay, and this will give you $9.90. $9.90. So in this case, the highest would be notepads. Notepads. Okay, let's move on. How much did you spend on all the stationery? So I think we know here. So total is equal to 9.6 plus 12.6 plus 9.9. Okay, so this become well, it's a lot of numbers. So 9.9 plus 9.6 plus 12.6. And this will become $32.10. So 32.10. So it's over here. So that's the answer. Okay. All right, 32. I'm just gonna copy this and then paste this over here. Okay, $32.10. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. It says here the following solid is made out of 9 unique cubes. Draw the top view and the side view. So the top view over here. So for top view, I'm gonna put some text. So 1. This will be okay. 1. All right. So this will be 2. This will be 3. Okay, and then we have 4 over here, then 5. Okay, then we have 6, and then we have 7 in this case over here. All right, so so that means it's 1 2 3. So it looks like a H. All right, so it should look something like this. So you have 1 2 3. So 1 1 2 3, and then you have 4, and then 7 6 5. That's why it's over here. Okay, what about the sides? So the sides we will have, let me put in, so that you will face 1. Okay, let me put in red, right? So 1, okay, and then, okay, actually I can copy this, 2 and 3. In this case, this 2 will be in red color. Okay, so the side will look like this, and then there is the top over here. So this will be 4, okay, and then this will be 5, okay. And for this part, this will then be over here. So let me also draw the red color. So at least it's a bit, okay, this the other way, like this. Okay, so if you were to draw, it should be an L. So 1 2 3, and then 4 5. So let me draw in red. So 1, okay, 2 3. So like this. Wait, right, 1 2, and then we have 3, and then 4 5. So this is a weird L, I guess, something like this. Right. So yeah, there you go. So this is the answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. Okay, so question number 6 says 2 soccer balls cost as much as 3 volleyballs. Mr. Lim bought 2 soccer balls and 4 volleyballs for $266. Find the cost of 2 soccer balls. All right, so let's write down. So we use simultaneous equation. Simultaneous. All right, MU. Oh, multitaneous. Okay, all right, makes sense. Simultaneous equation. All right, so that means let soccer be S, let volley be volley be V. Okay, so in this case, 2S is equal to 3V. Okay, or 3V, 2S. So he bought 2 soccer balls, right? Plus 3 volleyballs. is equal to dollars 266. So if we swap the 2 soccer balls to 3 volleyballs, so this is 4. Huh? So that means that 3 volleyballs plus 4 volleyballs, 266 again. That means 7 volleyballs equal to 266. All right. Then 1 volleyball is equal to 266. And then we divide it by, 7. Okay. So 266, 21, 56 would be 3 and 8. So let's double confirm. Oops. Right. 266 divided by 7. Okay, $38. So 1 volleyball is $38. Okay. So so we know 1 volleyball. So 3 volleyballs is equal to 3 times 38. Okay, and this will give us 114. So 38 times 3, times 3, $114. Dollars for 1 4. So since 3 volleyball is the same as 2 soccer balls, 2 soccer balls is also equal to dollars 114. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer. Dollars 114. Here you go. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. Okay, question number 7 says a rectangular tank 70 centimeters long by 35 centimeters wide and 30 centimeters high is filled up with water to 3/5 of its height. Water is then poured into the tank until it's filled with 58 liters of water. Find the amount of water that was poured into the tank. Okay, so first we want to get the height of the water. So height 3/5 of the height. Okay, 3/5 of the height. Okay, which is equal to 30 times 3 out of 5. Okay, so I'm gonna right. So we can do this. So 30 then multiply by 3 over 5 or 3 divided by 5. This is 18, right? 18 centimeters. Okay, so we know 3/5 of the height is 18 centimeters. So then we'll get the uh, volume of water with 3/5 of the height, right? Which is equal to, so length times breadth times height. So what's the length? 70. What's the breadth? 35. And what's the height? 30. 18. Ooh, 3/5. Right, 3/5 of the height. Okay. And then what will this give us? So 70 multiplied by 35 multiplied by 18. This is 44,100. So 44,100 centimeter and then cube, right? So this is also equal to 44.1 liters, right? So we divide by 1,000. So this is the volume of water. Okay, now we know this is the water. So we want to water that is added is equal to 58 liters, right? In this case, minus 44.1. Okay, what will this give us? So 58 divided, divide minus 44.1, 13.9, 13.9 liters. Okay, and there you go. So your answer is 13.9 liters. Okay, let's move on to question number 8. Question number 8 says the total amount of money that Alan, Betty, and Kaylen has is $34.20. The ratio of the amount of money Alan has to the amount Betty has is 2/3. Kaylen has $10.60, less than Betty. How much money does Kaylen have? Okay, so let's draw what do you call this? Uh, 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 Models. Okay, Betty, Alan, Betty, and Kaylen. Right. So all together, right? In this case over here, they have $34, 34.20. In this case over here. Okay, so the ratio amount of Alan to Betty is 2/3. So Alan to Betty is 2/3. So Alan is 2/3. Okay, and then Betty has another one, which is this. Okay, over here. Right. And then Kaylen has $10.60 less than Betty. So Kaylen over here has in a way $10.60 less, right? I don't know how much is that. All right, dollars 10.60. Whoop whoop beep pop whoop. Okay, somewhere here lah. I don't know. And she has, wait, let me just grab this and paste it over here. Something like this. So $10.60 less than Betty. Okay. Ooh, all right. So I'm gonna expand this a little bit more. Something like this. Okay. So not drawn to scale. So how much money does Kalen have? So in this case, I think from here what we can do is, we can add this up. So in a way, total. So in a way, we also can say that Betty itself is also 3 units. Okay, wait, I'm just gonna draw this here. So this itself will be 3 units, right? In this case over here. So I'm gonna gonna right, and then we also know that this is 2 units, right? Over here, right? 2 units. Okay, so with this we have 3 times it. So this total will be 8 units. Okay, which is equal to 34.2 plus 10.6. Okay, so 34.2, 44.8. Let's double confirm. 34.2 plus 10.6. And this will be $44.80. Okay, then 1 unit is equal to 44.8. And then we divide it by 8. So 40 is 5. 48 is 6. Right. So this will be the answer. Let's double confirm. So as you know, I just like to always do mental calculation, double confirm, right? Nothing wrong with mental calculation. You just have to double confirm, right? So how much does Kalen has? So Kalen is basically is equal to 3 units minus dollars 10.60, right? So Kalen is 3 units is equal to 5.6 times 3. Okay, what is 5.6 times 3? This is $16.80. Right, $16.80. All right, so with that, Kalen will be $16.80. Okay, so $16.80, right? Minus 10.60, and this will become $6.20. 6.20. So 60 minute minus 10.6, $6.20. There you go. So Kalen has $6.20. All right, let's move on to question number 9. So in the square grid below, PQ and QR are straight lines. Measure and write down the size of PQR. So let me grab my parallelo, no, not my protractor. All right, you can see that I have a protractor over here. So there's many ways you can do this, but usually what I like to do is generally choose the straight line that you want to measure from. So I'm going to use the straight line QR, which is over here. I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to extend, right, using my pencil of this line over here, PQ. So I'm just going to use my ruler, or you can use your protractor over here, and then you can just like make this into the line that you want to extend, something like this, right? So extend a bit more like that, right? And then I'm going to use the line and draw, right? So I'm going to draw like this. Okay, so I'm going to extend so that when I want to measure with my protractor like this. Okay, so over here I'm going to straighten this as much as possible, like this, right? I'm going to put this at the point, right, and rotate a bit. That's what you see over here. And if you could see, let me zoom it in. It should actually be 70 degrees. That's what I see over here. So it lands on 70 degrees. So that means the answer to where is this? A over here is 70 then degrees over here. Okay, 70 degrees. All right, so let's move on to next one. So next thing is PQ and QR from two sides of the parallelogram. PQ is parallel to RS. Okay, so S is here, right? So complete the drawing of the parallelogram, right? So what I'm gonna do is like you can use a ruler, and basically you can draw the line. That's what you see over here, right? So maybe you have a ruler like this. Okay, and then you can just put these two rulers together, right? You can use two rulers or two straight things lah. Anything can be anything. I use rulers instead. So like this, right? So make sure one end is this side, the other end is this side, somewhere like this. Oopsie daisy. Okay, something like this, right? Okay, so okay. Oh, sorry, but you're supposed to have the edge over here like this, and then oh, actually no need. You don't have to use the ruler method, right? You can just use the point method. So the point method is basically you just put the dot here and the dot here, and then you just draw the line. That's it. Okay, and then use a ruler to draw the line, and there you go. That's about it. Okay, so yeah, yeah, and there you go. You have your S. Right. Oh yeah, right. Your S. There you go. That's it. Okay, so that's roughly about it. So also at the same time, if you want to draw a parallelogram, you can measure these two sides so that you make sure that these two sides are the same length. Okay, and then these two sides also are the same length. So usually, yeah, that is roughly on how to do this PQRS, but the point method works. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 10. All right, question number 10. So PQR and SRU are triangles. So PQR and SRU are triangles. RPQ is 40 degrees, PQR is 102, and TSQ is 18 degrees. So PUT, find PUT. Okay, so first thing is we want to get the angle PRQ over here. So from here, right, angle PRQ, okay, is equal to, so we get the two angles, right, the 40 and the 102. So what we can do is if 180 minus 102 minus 40, and what will this give us? 7032, right? So let's double confirm with our calculator. So 180 minus 102 minus 40, okay, and this gives us 38 degrees. I forgot what I said, what degrees I said, but yeah, it should be 38 degrees, this case over here, right? Oops, let me just copy this and paste this over here. Paste this over here, right? So 38 degrees in this case, right? So now we know this 38 and we know this is 18, right? Then we can get the other angle that is beside P put, okay? So which is SUR. So angle, right? Angle, oh no, okay. So angle SUR is equal to 180 minus 18 minus 38. And what this give us? So this is 56, 124. So 180 minus 18 minus 38. Okay, this will give us 124 degrees. So now we know that this is 124 degrees. Okay, so let me just copy this and paste it over here. Right, so now we know this is 124. Let me put another one like this. Woo! Right, so oops. Now we can get, right, so the line PUT. So the angle PUT, okay, put is equal to 180 minus 124, and this gives us 18 and 38. So this is 56 degrees. Degrees over here. There you go. So that's the answer. The answer is 56 degrees. All right, there you go. All right, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 11. So 11 says a tank was completely filled with water. A pump was turned on for some time to drain water out of the tank. The line graph shows the volume of water in the tank over 40 minutes. How much water was drained out of the tank in 1 minute? All right, so in this case over here, we know that this 700 and it goes unto all the way here. So first is we want to get the lines. Okay, the lines are not the best. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put some lines over here so it's easier to see. Right, one and then two. Okay, oops, two. Okay, the lines. Oops. It's gonna let's think about these lines, right? 3, right? And then 4, right? Okay. So basically, how many gaps from 0 to 100? So let's put a small rectangle. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 gaps. So with that said, so there's 5 gaps. That's equal to 100 liters. One gap is equal to 100, and then we divide it by 5. This will give us 20 liters. So we know that at the start is 700. At the end is how many? So let's draw another line. Whoopsie, baby. Okay, so another line over here. From here to here, this is 300. So in this case, okay, we'll just put here. So in 40 minutes, it goes from, so maybe you guys might have a common mistake. For 40 minutes, it is, make it medium, 300 liters. Is it? No. So 400 minutes is 300 liters. But what is the thing that's drained? So it's 300. And what's the initial one? 700. Okay. Minus 300. Okay. And this is 400 liters drained. Okay. Not the current volume of water. Okay. So 400 minutes is 400 liter. Yes. Okay. And then 1 minute is equal to how many? Right? 400. And then we divide by 40. Okay. And what does this give us? 10 liters drained. So once you get this answer, that means 10 liters was drained in 1 minute or drained. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so the answer is here 10 liters. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So 11A, this is 11B. At the same rate, how long will it take for the water to completely drain out after 40 minutes? So after 40 minutes, it's already 300 liters. So that means after 40 minutes, we are left with 300 liters. So to drain 300 liters, so we know that uh, 10 liters drain is equal to 1 minute. Okay, let me put an arrow. So 1 minute. So 300 liters drained is equal to, so from 10 liters, okay, I'm just going to put here. 10 liters to 30 is basically 30 times 1, which is 30 minutes in this case over here. Okay, so from 10 liters, let me put an arrow. Okay, that's this. Is it correct? Yes, it is. So the arrow over here, from 10 liters to 3 over here, this is times 30. Oops, times 30. So 10 liters to this, let me put in a new line, and this thing starts over here. Right. Okay, there you go. So that's why it's 30. So that means this 30 minutes. Da-da-da-da. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 12. So question number 12 says ABCD is a rhombus. So what's a rhombus? Basically, rhombus is all the sides are the same. So this side is the same, this side is the same, this side is the same, and this side is the same. And then DCEF, which is this DCEF over here, right, is basically a parallelogram. So if this is the same, that means this is also the same. Okay, and then I'll just put these two lines. Okay, so parallelogram, opposite sides are the same. All right, so in this case, DGC is a straight line. DGC is a straight line. Okay, so this is a straight line. Find CEF. Okay, CEF. So essentially, what we need to do is we need to get DFE. Right, let's get angle. Right, DFE. Okay, which is equal to 360, which is the whole circle, minus 230. Whoop, minus 230, and this will give us 130 degrees. Okay, so let's double confirm with our calculator. 360 minus 230, this is 130 degrees. All right, so I'm gonna grab this 130 degrees, put it over here, make it a little bit smaller, and then draw the angle. That's what you see over here. Okay, so from here, we can get CEF, which is basically the opposite angles will equal to 180. So in this case, so angle CEF is equal to 180 minus 130 degrees equal to 50 degrees in this case over here, right? So that's the answer, 50 degrees, okay, for part A. So 12A, part A, yeah. 12B, DBG. So D, where is it? B and G, which is this thing over here. Okay, so how do we then get this? So we know that DGC over here is a straight line. Okay, this is a straight line. Okay, I'm gonna underline this. This is a straight line. Okay, so what do we know? So for this, we also know that DCB, right? So triangle DCB is an isosceles triangle. Okay, definitely. What is this? Isosceles triangle. Okay, spelling not that great. Oops. Right, isosceles triangle. Right, DCB is an isosceles triangle. So if we can get this angle over here, which I'm gonna draw, right? If we can get this angle, oops. So I'm gonna draw the black one. So we can get this angle, then we can get this, right? So that means for this isosceles triangle, that means we can get angle BDC, right? Angle, oops. So angle BDC is equal to 180 minus 100. Okay, so you see the 100 over here, and then we have this divided by 2. Okay, divide by 2. Okay, so with this I'm just gonna put it down. So 180 minus 100 is 80, and then we divide this by 2, right? And this will give us 40 degrees. Okay, so now we know that this BDC is 40 degrees. So does that mean we are able to get the DBG? Yes, we can. So DBG, DBG is equal to 180 minus 40, or 128 minus 40. Okay, and this is equal to, so it's 180 minus 128 minus 40. Okay, this will equal to 12. So the answer to this is 12 and then degrees, right? Okay, there you go. So the answer is 12 degrees. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 13. So it says here, at a charity bake sale, question 13, each person bought either 2 muffins, 5 muffins, or 7 muffins. 310 of the people bought 2 muffins, 1120 of the people bought 5 muffins, and the rest bought 7 muffins. Okay, so first is we want to translate this 310 to what do you call this? The denominator 20. So for 310, we are going to put a line over here. Okay, so this will become equal to, so we times, so this is the 2 muffins, guys. Two muffins, right? Is basically, I'm gonna put an arrow. All right, so 2 muffins is basically 3 out of 10, right? So if we were to just multiply this by 2, okay, and then multiply this by 2, so what this will give us is equal to 6 out of 20. 6 out of 20. Oops, 20. Right, oops, here. Okay, there you go. So 2 muffins is this, right? So we also know that this 2 muffins, then 5 muffins is 11 out of 20. So this is 11, right? Then lastly, how about the 7 muffins? So 7 muffins, okay, is basically uh one whole, oops, uh, one whole minus, then we have the 11 out of 20, so the rest like 11 out of 20, and then minus, right, 6 out of 20. Okay, so this would then give us how much? What do you think the answer is? Equal to, in this case, wait, this is 11, so it should be 6. So 11 plus 6 is 17. So that means this is 3 out of 20. So that means for the 2 muffins, okay, let me put a line. So we will put the 2m. 2m is to 5 muffins, 5m is to 7 muffins, 7m, right? So I'll say m means muffins. So 2m to 5m to 7m is, so 2m is 2m to 5m to 7m is here, say, oops. Okay, so we have 6. Okay, then is to 11. Then is to 3. There you go. So, all right. So the answer is, in this case is uh, 6, 11, and 3. So I'm gonna put it like this. Here you go. Okay, without the dots. Without the dots. Yes, the dots. Okay, let me also remove the dots. Okay, and this dots and these dots. Okay, very good. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is 13A. So 13B, the number of people who bought 2 muffins were 147 more than those who bought 7 muffins. So each muffin was sold as $1.50. How much money was collected from the people who only bought 2 muffins? So we know that if I were to put it here like this, okay, to 2 muffins, 5 muffins, and 7 muffins. Okay, so how does this look like? Okay, I'm just gonna space it out like this. Okay, so people who bought 2 muffins were 147 more than the 7 muffins. So in this case, 2 muffins more, that means is more, I guess, minus 7m, wait, 7m is equal to 147. Okay, so that means 6 units or 6u minus 7u, which no, 7m is 3u. Okay, is equal to 147. So that means 3u is equal to 147. All right, so 1u is equal to what is 1u? Actually, only 1u. You can put 6u because 2m is 6u, so it's just 147 times 2, which is equal to, in this case, 47 times 2 is 294. Okay, 294. Okay, in this case over here. All right, so with that said, how much money was collected for the 2 muffins? So, money collected from 2 muffin people is equal to 294, and then you multiply by 1.5. Okay, so basically then we multiply by 1.5, so this is $441 in this case over here. 294 times, wait, only bought 2 muffins. Oh, I also forgot, money collect, and also each muffin is 1.5, so multiply by 2 as well. Okay, so that means in this case over here, we also need to multiply by 2 as well. Okay, and this is $882. $882. See? All right, so yep, there we go. So 294 people times, wait, 2 muffin times dollars 1.5. So to make it a little bit clearer, sorry, total muffins is equal to, so you have 294 who bought 2 muffins, so it's 294 times 2. Whoops, 294 times 2 is equal to uh 294 times 2, 588 from 2m, yeah, 2m, and then if one muffin is equal to dollars 1.50, so 588 muffins equal to 288 times, no, sorry, 588, not 288, 588 times 1.50, which will also give 58 multiplied by 1.5, 82, okay, dollars, right, right, dollars 88. That's what I see over here. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 14. Ali received $500 as a prize. He gave $225 to his parents. He saved $123 and used the remaining amount of prize to pay for a total of 24 cupcakes and tarts. First question is, what percentage of the prize money did Ali give to his parents? Okay, so percentage given to parents is equal to basically 225, right? So I'm going to put it here, 225 out of 500. So it's equal to 100% times 225 out of 100, in this case over here. All right, so what you can do is you can cancel out everything here, 100. Oops, where's my line? Okay, this one. And then you can also create the line over here. So that means 225 oops, okay, which is basically 1% times 225 and then divide by 5. Okay lah. So in this case, 225 divided by 5, this will be 45. So in this case will be 45%. That's it. There you go. So 45%. Okay, so that's for part A, 14, part A. Part B, cupcakes were sold at $5 each and tarts were sold at $7 each. How many tarts did Ali buy? So we want to get the remaining prize money. So remaining is equal to 500 minus 225 minus 123. Okay, so what would this give us? So 275. Okay, I'm just going to use the calculator. 500 minus 225 minus 123. This will give us $152. Okay, so he used it to spend on the 24 cupcakes and tarts. So you can do guess and check, or we can do assumption method. Okay, so he used the remaining amount of money to pay for a total of 24 cupcakes. Sadly, it's not equal amounts. Okay, so let's assume, so there's 24 cupcakes. Let's assume he bought, let's say he bought all, what's this, cupcakes. So that means assumed cupcake amount is equal to 24 times 5. It should give us $120 in this case over here, right? So we have $120 in this case. So is it 24? Right, 24 as well. All right, so once we assume that's step 1, so step 2 is D. So D means difference in value. So that means it's 7 minus 5. Okay, and this will give us $2. Okay, so we also want to have the difference as well in remaining minus assume, right? Difference in remaining and assume. So this will basically be 152. Oops. So I'll just put here 152 minus 120. This will give us $32. And then we divide to get other to get the number of other item, which is the tarts, okay, which is equal to 32, and then we divide it by 2 and this is 16. Okay, so in essence, it's step 1. So let me draw an arrow. So this is step 1 over here. Step 1, assume. Okay, step 2, okay, I'll put here. Step 2 over here, which is this. Oops, step 2, find the difference. And then step 3, which is this, divide. ADDD, right? Divide, difference and divide. So the answer to this is equal to 16, right? So you can double confirm. So 16 times 7, which is in this one 40. So then step 3, step 4, I'll say double confirm, which is basically in this case, wait, oh, okay, it's not the, all right. Okay, sorry about that, but okay, step 4 is double confirm, which is basically 24 minus 16, which is the, I would say, what do you call this? The cupcakes, right? And this is dollars 5 plus, then you have 16 times 7. Okay, so 24 minus 16 is 8. So 8 times 5 plus 16 times 7. Okay, and what would this give us? So 8 times, wait, times 5 plus 16 times 7. Okay, 152. And that's correct. Okay, dollars 152. And this is the same amount as we have calculated. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so the answer to this is 16. Right, 16 cupcakes. Right, so this is step 4, double confirm. Alrighty, let me just put this a little bit smaller. Okay, great. Right, let's move on to question 15. All right, question 15. So it says here that a company ordered an equal number of large tubs and small tubs of ice cream for the family day. They paid a total of $112 more for the large tubs of ice cream. Okay, so 15 part A, how many tubs of ice creams did the company order altogether? So we know that there is an equal number of large tubs and also small tubs over here. So that means in this case over here, so if they bought 3 small tubs, they will buy also 3 large tubs. Okay, so we know that one large, okay, is equal to dollars 5. So 3 large is equal to 5 times 3. This is equal to $15. So we know 3 large tubs is $15, and we also know 3 small is also equal to, not also equal lah, but it's just $8. Okay, so the thing is that we also know that the difference between this total is $112. Okay, so that means they paid a total of $12 more for the large tubs for 12 versus the small tubs. So what this means is that there is a difference. Okay, so this is what we call the I'll call it the grouping concept. Okay, so we're going to group them together, right? So what we need to do is, so in this case, we will have one group which is equal to 3 large plus 3 small, right? And then one group is 3 large and 3 small because equal amounts, right? Then the next one is one group difference, right? Is equal to, so we know that the 3 large is 15 and the 3 small is 8. So we just minus each other. 15 minus 8 is equal to dollars 7. So this is one group difference. Then the next part that is, since we know the total difference is equal to dollars 112. So number of groups is equal to 112, and then we divide it by 7. Okay, so if we use our calculator, okay, in this case over here, 112 2 divided by 7. So this will give you 16 groups. So we know there is 16 groups. Now the question asks, how many tubs of ice cream is did the company order altogether? So we know that one group is equal to 3 large and 3 small, which is 6 tubs. So if you were to here, right, one group is equal to 6 tubs, then 16 groups, right, is equal to how many tubs? So 16. So let me just put in the next line, right? 16 times 6, right? And what would this become? Okay, let's go to the calculator. We multiply this by 6, and this will give us 96 tubs. Yes, tubs. Okay, and that's the answer over here. It is 6 tubs. All right, so the answer to this is 96. All right, let's move on to the next question. This is question 15, part B. So, how much did the company pay for all of the small tubs? So, we just need to know how many small tubs that we have, and then we multiply by 8. So, in this case, we have 16, we call this 16 groups of 3 small tubs. So, that means 16 and 3 small tubs. Okay, 3 small is equal to $18. Okay, or one group lah basically. So one group is equal to $18, $8, not 18 Oops. Okay, poop, poop, right? So one group is equal to 3 small, which is equal to $8. So we can technically ignore the small group, the smalls, right? So in this case, 16 groups is equal to 8 times 16. And what would this become? So 8 times, oops, multiply by 16, and this will give you $128. So the answer to this is $128 in this case over here. All right, that's it. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 16. He says here, Mrs. Lee bought some star-shaped keychains, square-shaped keychains, and pens. Mrs. Lee spent 3/7 of her money on the star-shaped keychains and 5/12 of her remaining money on 15 square-shaped keychains. The rest of the money was spent on the pens. Okay, so first question is, what fraction of her money did she spend on the pens? All right, so let's break it down. So I would say star is basically, in this case, 3 out of 7. In this case, so 3 out of 7 of her money. So I'll just put here money, right? So what was the remaining in this case, right? So the remaining is equal to 1 minus 3 out of 7. Okay, and this is equal to how many, right? 4 out of 7, right? 1 minus 3 out of 4 out of 7. So we know that the remaining money is 4 out of 7. Okay, so at the same time, out of the remaining, she spent, in this case, right, 5/12 of her remaining money on square shape, the rest. So the rest of the remaining, she spent on the pens. Okay, so we know that uh, she spent the, what is this called? Square shape, which is basically, in this case, 5 out of 12. Right, 5 out of 12, 5 out of 12 of the remaining, right? So what would then be the pence? Okay, so the pence will then just be equal to, similar to this one, minus, then we have 5 out of 12, and this will equal to 7 out of 12, right? Okay, so now we know that the pence over here, right? So 5 out of 12, this will be 7 out of 12 of the remaining. Same thing as what you see over here. So let me move this to the side. Okay, so from here, how much is the pants? So how much did she spend on the pants? For 1 mark, is a lot of things. Okay, so for pants, right? I don't know if you agree. So pants is basically one of the remaining. So 7 out of 12 of the remaining. Okay, so in this case, is equal, whoops, is it, oop, nope, I want this 7 out of 12 over here, and then we multiply by, so off means times, the remaining is how many? 4 out of 7, right? Okay, so 4 out of 7. So we can cancel some stuff over here. So let's cancel 12 and 4, right? This will then give us, in this case, what do you call this? 3. Okay. Then 4 will be just 1. And then let's do a read one. Let's cancel out 7 and 7. Okay. So for this, we have 3 for the 12. And then for the 4, we have the 1. In this case over here. So that means this will equal to how much? It will be 1 out of 3. Okay. So the answer to this will be 1 out of 3. Damn, that's a lot. Okay. Hard of 1 mark. Damn it. Yeah. Okay, 1 out of 3. Wow, that's a lot. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, so now we know this part A. Part B. How many keychains? Was it 16 part B? How many keychains did she buy all together? Okay, so we know that we have 15 square shaped keychains. Okay, so the square over here is 5 out of 12. Okay, so we want to also multiply by 4 over 7 to know that this is equal to 15. So let's do that. Okay, so over here, mm, for the square, oops, I don't want red. Okay, for the square is equal to, actually I can copy this whole thing, right? Oops. Okay, so 5 out of 12 is square, and then we multiply by 4 out of 7. Okay, so we have 4 out of 7 over here. Okay, let me copy this. Right, so we multiply by 4 out of 7 in this case over here. Okay, and this is equal to, right? So 5 out of 12, 4 out of 7. In this case, we can cancel again, like what we see over here. So I'm just gonna cancel out 12 and cancel out 4. Right, this will then be 3. Then this will then be 1. Okay, so in this case, right, this equal sign will be here. So it's basically, oh no, this is not 3, this one. So this is 5 times 1, then divided by 3, or out of 3 times 7. Okay, all right. So what would this give us? This will give us more headaches. I'm kidding. This will give us 5 out of 21. Okay. Okay, so we have 5 out of 21. All right. So the square itself has 5 out of 21. Okay. So that means we will convert denominator to total units. Okay. So and then convert numerator to square units. To units. Yeah, square units. So if I were to just make this into color red instead, so denominator, okay, whoops. All right, so let me delete this. Denominator is 21, and then for the numerator itself, let me just add in more and more space. Numerator will be green, and yeah, just like this. Okay, so what this will do is, then we know square over here will become 5 units, and then total will become what do you call this? 21 units. Okay, so now we know the total units and square. So we also know that square is 15, right, over here. So what we can do is 5 units is equal to 15, then 1 unit is equal to 3. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? So with this, how many keychains did she buy all together? So we also know the number of what's this? 1/3 has been spent on pens. Okay, so that means let's draw a line. That means pens over here, right? Pens is equal to, and then we have 1/3, right? 1/3, 21 times 1/3. So 1/3 of the total thing, right? Times, okay, 1/3. Okay, whoops, no, I want this. Okay, copy and then paste here. 21 times 1/3, and this will equal to, right, 7 units. Okay, so 21 units, 7 units. Okay, so we know that pens have 7 units. So the keychains is basically equal to how many units? 21 minus 7, which is 14 units. Okay, so since you know 5 units is 15, 1 unit is 3, then 14 units is equal to 14 times 3. So 15, this is okay, 5 units, 15 chains, right? Then 3 units is 3 chains, so 14 units is 14 times 3. This will give us 52 if I'm not wrong. No, 42. Let's double confirm. With our handy dandy calculator, 14 times 3, okay, equal to 42 chains. Right, so the answer is keychains. Okay, it's not chains, keychains. Okay, so the answer to this, right, is keychains. 42 keychains. Whoops. Okay, so the answer is 42. Damn, that's a lot, right? But yeah, okay. So yes, this is a remainder concept kind of thing. But yeah, this is how we do it. So I would say this is the remainder concept question, right? A very tough question. Okay, let's move on to the last question. So this is a pattern concept question, right? So over here, okay. So this one, the first three figures of a pattern is shown below. The table below shows the number of shaded and unshaded used for each figure. So you see 4, 7, 10 for figure 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 8, 11 as well. Okay, so usually hints or I don't know what to write, but basically hints, ignore ignore the figure and just look at the table, right? Yeah, that's the hint. Ignore the figure, just look at the table. Let me make this smaller, right? All right, so usually I'll just look at the table over here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this arrow over here in this case. So 4 to 7, right? So I'm gonna not do this but do this instead. 4 to 7 over here, okay, is actually what? Plus 3, right? Okay, and then it's the same with 7 to 10 in this case over here, which is 13. Okay, is it the same? 5 to 8, yep, it's the same. So 5 to 8, 8 to 11, and then 11 to what do you call this? 11 to the next one, this should be 14. All right. So now find the total number of unshaded. Okay, we already completed 4. Find the total number of unshaded squares over here. Okay. So what we can do is, in a way, we can find out the total. So let's do that. So I'm gonna draw another table over here. Okay, I'm gonna draw here, and then I'm gonna put some lines. Okay. Whoops. Right. So basically I'm just putting the line so we can see the pattern. I roughly know what the pattern is roughly. We'll see. Okay, so for this I'll put here total, right? Total now unshaded. Oh, no need. Okay, this, okay, ignore what I said. But yeah, total number of unshaded. So you got 5, 8, 11, and 13. So if I were to put in, right, figure 1 is equal to 5, then figure 2 is equal to 8, figure 3 is equal to 11, and then figure 4 is equal to 14, right? Okay, so from this we can actually create a pattern from this. So this is roughly the same as, okay, right, in this case basically it is 5 equal to 5, right? Next one is equal to 5 plus 3, right? And the next one is equal to 5 plus 3 plus 3. And this one is equal to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Okay. So in this case, this will be the same as, okay, if I were to do this, which is the same as 5 times 5 plus 0 lah in essence. So how to get 0? Or if you go here, 5 plus bracket 3 times 3, right? Okay. Then this one is 3 times or 2 times 3, right? And then this is, okay, wait, let me change this. So this is 1 times 3. And last one will be, plus 0 times 3. Okay, from here, okay, this is small. Let me put it as medium. Okay, so from here, can you see the pattern, right? So usually, in this case, figure 1, 2, 3, 4, basically the pattern is, so pattern is basically fig n is equal to, so what's the figure 1 over here? If I were to add one more, which is basically 1 minus 1. Okay, so this one is 1 minus 1 bracket times 3. Okay, hopefully, right? So 1 minus 1, then we will just do the same. Right, and then this is 2 minus 1, then this is 3 minus 1, and then whoops, 3 minus 1 times 3, and then this one will be, no, this 2 minus 1, 3 minus 1, and then this will be 4 minus 1. That's what I see over here. There you go. So the figure will be n equal to 5 plus, then bracket n minus 1 times 3. This is the this figure. So basically you see this one, then you figure out how come it becomes 0, you should minus 1. Figure 2, how come it is 1, you minus 1, right? So with this, what about figure, figure 47, which is equal to 5 plus bracket 47 minus 1 times 3. Okay, so what will this become into? So this will equal to 5 again plus, then we have 46 times 3. Okay, so what is 46 times 3? 46 times, multiply by 3, 138. So 5 plus 138. Okay, and the final answer will be 143. Okay, with this plus 5, 143 over here. So the answer to this is 143 in this case over here. All right, that's about it. Okay, so a bit of tough questions here, but if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below. Comment down what other papers you want me to go through next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.